In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs. Week by week. Book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
Hello and welcome to Nerd Church Radio DC Mass, episode number 46. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
I'm Travis Roseberry.
I'm Bradley Butin.
And we are your DC comic book overlords. So, yeah. And we got Necron here, too. Is he here?
Well, knock, knock.
Come on.
Hello? Hello? Anybody?
Necron?
No.
Necron.
Silence, this is Necron.
Thank you.
I was actually anticipating you saw Necron. That's why I was being silent.
Yeah. I finished
from Necron.
on DC Communion this week. We're going to be talking about Blackest Night, and I had never finished that book before, and I had never gotten to the part with Necron. So all these Necron jokes have always been going over my head. I've never known.
You know,
I've lost a little respect for you.
I know, right?
And he put on a pretty good front, though. For,
Yeah,
he
did.
46 episodes.
Yeah, I thought this
we
was
been
like
making Necron jokes. And,
Yeah, and he's been right there with
right, he's
everyone.
like, that was funny. Ariel, what was I supposed to laugh there?
I thought this was like a Masters of the Universe joke or something. I had no idea. So yeah, now I know that he is to be feared and
yes.
Not too easily dispatched. So.
I had to say that one of the best in that comic is when the Spectre tries to do away with him, and he goes, "Silence, fool! You have no, I have no soul, so you can't judge me." And he just walks right through him. Like,
Right. Oh yeah. I love it. There's so many crazy things. It's something that I think I need to read a second time to really fully grasp, because so much happens in it.
all the little background drawings and everything too. It's just fantastic.
Man, it's insane. And it jumps around a lot. It's a bit hard to follow, but I mean, it's very good.
Yeah.
Sinestro becoming a White Lantern temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think it's
Scarecrow becoming a Yellow Lantern. That was cool.
I think that's my favorite part of Blackest Night is when all the different spectrum colors goes to find everybody, with like Flash becoming a Blue Lantern. Scarecrow,
Lex becoming an orange.
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 Yeah.
It's a very good part. So, if you can't tell already, we are a DC Comics fan podcast.
Woo-hoo!
We like to talk about DC related things, specifically the comic books, but much to Travis's chagrin, we do go into video games and movies sometimes. So
that's cool.
Okay. Last week
Now
it wasn't. Last week it wasn't.
I was trying
cool.
to keep you on the tracks, man.
I know. I do like to get off track. So we are a spoiler podcast. So we talk about the weekly DC comic book releases. We recap them for you, and we tell you a little bit about what we think. We like to review them, give them a score based on our rating system, which I'll play for you guys later. In addition to that, we do also have a Patreon where you can help us keep the mics on, and actually recently decided that every fund that we receive from Patreon is going to go towards helping us buy new microphones. This rich, beautiful voice you're hearing right now is actually coming from one of those mics that I borrowed. Don't give me those eyes, Travis.
These eyes are crying. No.
I think I'm going to save up all those funds. Normally it goes towards hosting, but I'm going to, just use different money for that and pay and save up for microphones so we can have a better sound for you guys. So if you want to donate to our Patreon page, that can be found at patreon.com/nerdchurchradio. That's where you can commit to donating to us on a monthly basis, maybe $5 or $2 or whatever you want. And sometimes we do bonus content. We don't do it enough to say that we can do it consistently, but I'm not going to promise anything because we do lots of free content for people, but every once in a while we'll review a movie or something on there. So if you just want to donate to us as a one-time thing, though, you're welcome to head on over to PayPal and just send it to us at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com.
So, I mean, if you guys think that if you like what we're doing, think about it. We have 2 shows that we get released every week. and just
for free.
So $1 is like 2 weeks of shows.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And that dollar also buys you our eternal gratitude, a shout out on the show, and Brad's loving friendship forever. So,
I give out lots of friendship.
Yep, lots of friendship. I didn't even make that connection. Such friendship. So
always.
So yeah, that's all we got for an intro for you. We got a bit of stuff to cover today, so I'm gonna head on over to the news. All right, so for news this week, I think we all have a couple news stories. So I am going to defer to Brad first to give us a little bit of news.
Most importantly, there's 130 days to Star Wars The Last Jedi comes out. 130, so the countdown is on.
And we're even less days till the Justice League movie. Absolutely. Even less days till the Thor movie. It's a good time to be alive and be a nerd.
Absolutely. You know, I think next week I'll actually start all those little countdown things.
Yeah.
One thing, if you're a fan of 80s movies, The Karate Kid is coming back with Ralph Macchio in a half-an-hour series.
This isn't the shitty... Will Smith's son version.
Right. The best part of that one was Jackie Chan.
I can't stand that kid.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I feel you on that one.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that it's going to YouTube Red, though. I mean, like...
is it?
Yeah, they shopped around at, like, Netflix and Hulu, and I'm like...
That's still happening? YouTube Red is still a thing?
YouTube Red is the one that's doing it. It's going to be a 10-part miniseries, half an hour, and they're calling it a comedy drama.
I don't think I know a single person who pays for that.
We do.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Now I do. Awesome. Well, how do you feel about it? Because I've always wanted to know, like, if people like it or not, or if it was worth it.
Well, I'll get back to you, because... Kendall, my oldest daughter, is the only one that uses it.
Okay.
But yeah, so they got the main bad guy from Karate Kid 1, Johnny Zabka, and the title of the show is going to actually be Cobra Kai.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
No, don't. I like my leg. I'll crane kick you to death.
No.
And that is Johnny.
That is an illegal move, sir.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That below the belt type of thing?
Right.
Is that what we're talking about? I don't know.
No, it's something to do with Necron. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry, he won't pick up on it. He doesn't know who that is.
This is going to be the new Dick Grayson type joke.
Also, fans of Riverdale are going to have some guest appearances.
Is that a
CW
thing?
But Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are going to be part of the show this next season.
You're sure about this?
I am 100% sure. If I'm not, people can yell at me, whatever. But
this just makes me upset because that's not a DC Comics thing.
Yeah, but they met in the comics. The Betty and Veronica did meet. Harley and so, but whatever.
It just makes me mad that you can bring like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy at those shows, but you can't bring them to like the Flash show or Arrow. Like that makes no sense.
Right.
You know, you got that little bit of Harley Quinn in Arrow once. You saw the back of her head in the Suicide Squad episode. You remember that?
Yeah.
But past that, I mean, I just wish they would bring those characters to that show. But
so if they can establish that it's one shared universe, the CW universe, then technically they would be in that universe. But
I guess so.
I don't know. So
cool.
On that,
so I got a little bit of news here, just a little bit of news. So, Batman Telltale game, because I know that Travis loves it when I talk about video games. They have released sorry, I had to.
No,
they've released a trailer for Batman: The Enemy Within, which is the new Telltale game from Batman.
Did you ever play the first one?
I'm not a fan of Telltale games personally. No? I don't like RPGs or that sort of just like. I really love the Arkham games because you get to beat the shit out of someone with your own hands, but with like Telltale, it's like press A to beat the shit out of something. You know, it's
really?
I don't like to press a button and then watch him do it. I like to feel like I'm doing it. Sure. So, it is a cool concept though. I know Ariel loves the Telltale games a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I haven't played Batman. I almost bought it, but then I got talked out of getting Batman Telltale to get Dead Knight or
Left 4 Dead? No. I know what you're talking about. The zombie game. Dying Light.
Thank you. I was like, well, I can't think of this right now. Which I'm glad I did because that game is awesome.
Yeah, it is a very good game. Have you finished it yet?
No.
Wake up, Travis.
I'm sorry.
I got sidetracked on Diablo 3. So
yeah,
and But yeah.
Sorry, I thought this was glitch therapy.
No, that's okay.
I had to go there.
In other video game news, no, I'm just kidding.
So, did you see that the news came out for Action Comics number 987 and 988, the lenticular covers that show the reveal between the Superman shield and the Oz effect?
So, yeah, before we go into this, that was my next story. No, and that's okay.
Try to come up with a story.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. But
he just snakes it.
Possible spoilers, I guess. If you don't know who Mr. Oz is, this may provide a possible outcome to that. I'm not even going to call it a spoiler because I don't think this is correct. But whatever. Yeah. We can talk about it anyway. So yeah, what's up with these?
No, I don't know. I just know that was coming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, a lot of people are saying that the lenticular cover for that glitches back and forth between like Superman's parents and then them dying or whatever.
Yes,
so a lot of people are drawing the conclusion that means that Mr. Oz is Superman's dad.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did see part of a news story about that. Like it showed like on another, I think it's on 988's lenticular cover. When it spins, it's Jor-El's kind of being like teleported away in a blue light like Dr. Manhattan would do.
Yeah.
And they're kind of drawing a conclusion that maybe Jor-El's alive still, or maybe possibly it is.
I don't think
Oz.
he's Mr. Oz, though.
No, I don't think so either.
I still think Mr. Oz is Ozymandias.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, that's just too similar to, like, why would he call himself Mr. Oz,
Yeah, weird.
Especially, like, from a different planet. The only other reason is, like, maybe the Mr. Oz from Yellow Brick Road movie. God.
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz, yeah. But, like, the Superman's dad would have no knowledge of that movie. I know my wife's making fun of me over there. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really think that that's a possibility. But still, cool lenticular covers. There's another lenticular cover of the Superman symbol alternating between...
That's what I was talking about.
Like, people with wings? Or, I don't know, what is that?
I think it's actually dead bodies, like, layered over the top of each other all the way around the S. So it's kind of like Oz is the end kind of thing.
Okay.
So, Travis, how would you feel if Jor-El came back alive?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
It really messes with the origins of Superman.
Yeah, I think it needs to stay. He needs to stay gone. I mean,
Right.
I do kind of like every now and then they'll do like a story where somehow Superman's able to get a 20-second like glimpse into the past and still communicate with them right before Krypton explodes.
Right.
I kind of like that because it's always like the heartfelt moment where it's oh my dad, oh my son, I made it, don't worry, I'm okay. That kind of thing.
It's good
Sorry, I
stuff.
put you on a rocket when you were
It's
just
probably in a
days
little
old.
higher voice.
Yeah.
That's about as high as I can go with this deep, manly voice that you get.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh,
yeah. Regular Barry White over here.
So did you see in that
Let's
same
get it
thread, Dark Knight's Metal that's come out with a new cover, and it's with Kubert and Romita Jr.
Yeah, the variant cover. Yep.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be negative all the time, but no, I can't do it.
You're not a fan of Romita, right?
Romita's awful, I think.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's some variant covers that came out. I'm not a huge fan of variant covers unless I just really dig the art on it, then I'll buy it. But I don't know. Some of these covers look really cool. So I don't know. I don't really know which one is the. I'm looking at them now, and I don't know which one's the Romita one and which one is not. But yeah, okay, now I do. It's the one with Batman and Wonder Woman, right? That's the Romita one. Even that is pretty cool. I think Swamp Thing looks all right on it. Or, I mean, that looks like an evil version of Swamp Thing or something.
So, did you guys actually read the hard copies of the comics this week?
Not the hard copies, no.
Yeah. Pick it up, take a look. Then in Superman. Halfway through, they have like a little art concept of Batman Metal, and it's got all of the characters that are going to be in it. Looks kind of cool.
Cool.
So
I'll have to check them out next time I'm at the comic shop if they have any left. So, yeah. So as far as those lenticular Action Comics covers, that's going to be the Oz Effect Part 1 and 2. The first issue of that comes out September 13th, and the second issue, my computer's frozen, really. September 27th. So, cool. So yeah, and then the Dark Knight's Metal stuff. I'm not sure when that comes out. Do you guys know yet?
August 16th, Dark Knight's Metal 1.
All right, beautiful. And that's going to be fun. So next news I have is a little bit of stuff on Nightwing. The creator of Nightwing actually did an interview, and he's talking about Nightwing's sexy reunion with Huntress. Yeah, so I'm going to actually do something a little different than we normally do. I'm actually going to play that interview so we can hear it right now on the show for our listeners and stuff.
Are you talking about Tim Seeley?
I believe so, yeah, but you'll hear in the interview.
But he wasn't the actual creator. He's the writer of Nightwing.
Right, one of the creators of the Nightwing book is what I meant, not the creator of the character.
That goes with George Perez, actually.
Yep, so here's that interview.
Nightwing reunites with Huntress when the spy organization they used to work for comes back for blood. Writer Tim Seeley is here to tell us how things heat up in issue 26.
Well, basically, in issue 25, we saw that Dick was working with his partner, a hacker who was helping him out. That character named Gizmo gets killed, and then it's a mystery of who killed this character and why. And it's a real low point for Dick. He feels somewhat responsible, and he's also kind of wondering if he should stay in Bloodhaven, and if there's still a future for him there. He's just broken up with his girlfriend, and then all of a sudden Helena comes running along. And you know how that is when you're vulnerable after a recent breakup.
Sure.
We've all been there. So.
We've been there.
Yeah.
So what is the status of Helen and Dick's relationship right now?
So after we left them in Grayson, they interacted, but they sort of, whatever they had going has been pushed to the side for their own personal mission. So their relationship was always kind of based on they needed to trust each other because that's all they had. Even though philosophically and personality-wise they couldn't be more different.
Right.
But that was the one thing they had, was that they could trust each other. So in the meantime, Huntress has gone on, worked with Birds of Prey, Dick has moved to Bloodhaven, and when they get back together, they have to determine what's their new thing. Then they're not working together, not forced to work together. Is there value in that relationship they had, or was it just this fling based on the situation? So is it a real passion, or is it a weekend, is it a camp relationship? Is it like, one of those summer camp loves? So just for you guys, I wrote you a steamy naked scene in Nightwing 26, and Javier Fernandez, I forgot, I got the art back, I was like, oh my. So yeah.
Is it
straight up naked? Steamy naked. It is actually steamy naked.
Wow.
But yeah. We drew the hell out of it. It's awesome, and it'll be a classic, I'm sure.
I cannot wait. It's Nightwing, right?
Yeah, it's Nightwing. It's a sexy scene. It's a sexy scene. I mean, this might be your favorite issue for a while. I think you might be into it.
I'm ready. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, and I cannot wait to read this issue.
This one is made for you, basically. So.
Yes.
All right. So, what would Nightwing be without a steamy naked scene? I guess I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get some sweet Nightwing butt action. They always like to throw those into the Dick Grayson books, right?
I will say this: it was really hard to not make any Dick jokes in this issue.
Yeah, I believe that. I actually haven't read it. So, are they referring to this current issue that's coming? We're talking
the one
about
that I'm
today?
going to spoil forever, all you listeners, shortly.
Okay, and that's the one that Huntress is in?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm always excited to see that crossover. I mean, we had a little bit of that come about in Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, where we saw Dick Grayson and Green Arrow show up, so it's nice to see the reverse of that happening or whatever.
Well, and in that one, I think there wasn't a lot of dialogue between Huntress and Dick Grayson as well, or Nightwing. But.
Yeah, for sure. So, they didn't really have time for a lot of dialogue, period, in that. So, one other piece of news from me. Shazam director promises lighthearted departure from DC movies. So this is David Sandberg, and he's talking about the Shazam movie, which doesn't have a release date yet, but he says the big attraction for me with that character is the fact that every kid dreams of being a superhero. I certainly did, and Billy Batson is a kid that gets a chance. He gets to become the superhero, so it'll be big with superpowers in a way. In terms of what people can expect, I think this will be one of the more fun or lighthearted movies so far in the DCU. It certainly will be a departure. So
I guess Kellen Lutz, or Lutz, however you said it, he's pushing pretty hard to be Shazam.
Yeah, I know he expressed interest in the part. So
he actually wouldn't be bad. I mean,
no, I don't
could
think
probably
so
think better people. But
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think that's good, man. I mean, the DCU films have been super dark thus far, and Wonder Woman was kind of a departure from that, but it was still a very serious movie in tone. And I think it would be nice to get like a really fun movie. I think that's what Shazam has over Superman, is just like more of a lighthearted, childish feel than Superman.
And magic.
Yeah, well, yeah, and a little bit of magic, but also just the fact that he's a 10-year-old in a giant's body. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So do you guys have anything else for news this week?
I think I'm good, man.
I'm good.
All right, we'll move on to some book reviews.
Let's get it on.
All right, so starting things off with book reviews this week, I'm going to start with Green Lanterns number 28, which I haven't read this book or reviewed it in a while. I think other people have had it more recently, so I was pretty excited to grab it. But this book starts off with something that Brad has been asking for basically as long as I can remember. We see a Green Lantern ring claim a Kryptonian. And then we pick up back at the beginning of existence on Earth as we know it anyway, which is actually, I learned this week, the existence of everything, because everything started in Earth in the DCU. I didn't know that before.
Earth is the true center of the universe.
Everything revolves around us.
Aren't we
We're selfish.
Yeah.
Yep, so this is where Simon and Jessica have been transported to, where they're meeting their first ever 7 Green Lanterns. So now these rings don't have any safeguards on them at this point, which means, willpower can go past 100%, which makes them very dangerous. So when the 7 new lanterns show up on Earth in front of Simon and Jessica, they're all not really sure what to make of the situation. A hologram of Rami, and Rami from this time period shows up and tells them that the universe needs their help to stop Volthoom, who's about to show up, and he's set to arrive any minute now. The rest of the issue is spent watching all 7 of the new lanterns argue about how they're going to use these new toys that they got. The Kryptonian lanterns decide her god Rao wants her to steal everyone else's ring to save her wayward crew. But since the rings don't have any safeguards on them, her overwhelming willpower causes her to be completely consumed and die. So the rest of the new lanterns realize that they're into some real shit here, and they decide to let Jessica and Simon train them. This whole time, Simon has lost his Green Lantern ring, and I'm guessing he's going to get the ring from the fallen Kryptonian. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to roll out. And the ring, has no safeguard on it, so in the hands of one of the hottest-headed lanterns, that should make a pretty interesting read. It's like giving Guy Gardner a bike without training wheels. It's just, I'm sure, or a ring without training wheels, I guess. So it should be a fun issue. I am a little tired of the training day issues because we already got one of those, but I think this is going to be a different flavor of the training day issue. Yeah. What did you guys think of this issue?
I liked it a lot. I do agree with you. I'm done with the training issues because we've had so many of them lately. I'm ready for the more in-depth, long, deep space cop drama that we're used to with Green Lanterns. Yeah. But I did like seeing the whole Kryptonian get a Green Lantern ring. We've seen it before. No, I'm sorry. We've seen the other planet. What's the other planet next to Krypton that Mon-El comes from?
I don't know.
That's going to bother me.
It starts with an L, doesn't it?
I'll look it up. Yeah. We can just keep going.
Anyways, she gets her ring, and then it just maxes out, and she gets toasted. Yeah. But, I liked it a lot. It was a great issue. Neat to kind of see how Jessica stood up and became the motivator and the level-headed person when she's normally the one that freaks out. So good to see that. Good to see her. She's kind of a little bit over her anxiety issues. So
I feel like there's a lot of Guy Gardner imprint on Jessica in this.
He did train her.
Absolutely, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's going on with Baz, though? I want an answer now. I don't want to wait for the next issue. I want to know. He doesn't have his ring, but he's got pieces of it embedded into his skin. So I want to think he's like imbued. Is that the word? With
I just don't think they're going to give us an answer to that just yet. Right. But I think that is going to be a thing. And I think the new ring that doesn't have safeguards on it may interact with the pieces of the old ring that he has in him somehow.
Yeah.
It's going to do something. They can't just leave that there, I think that'll be maybe come to a head at the end of the story arc or something.
Wait. Are you saying that he's taken the Kryptonian's ring?
I think that's what
we're speculating, because I didn't see it happen.
No, it hasn't happened
Right.
yet.
Okay.
No, I think
Nice.
he's going to. Though,
Yeah.
so.
It would make sense.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense. Like, he doesn't have a ring. One just became available. Like, that's too big
it
of a
doesn't have the
coincidence.
subroutine to go out and find another host. Yeah.
right,
Okay.
it's going to be right there.
Or even if it does have that subroutine, he's the closest one that's worthy to
True.
it. So I don't know. I would think they would. But yeah, man, I think Sam Humphries tells a really fun Green Lantern story. I mean,
Yeah.
the artwork on this has always been a super fun ride. It was really weird to open it up and see like Kryptonians because it just wasn't what I was expecting.
Right.
I was like, where are we right now? What's going on?
Especially if you follow all the Superman stories and the mythos of Krypton, because at one point they were in isolationism, and before that they did try to go out and populate other planets and take over. But yeah, it was really neat to see that pre-isolation view, because they never really talk about it in the comics.
Yeah.
They just say, and then we always get that hermetically sealed planet of Krypton, or
the secret passage you don't talk about.
yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
Yeah, you know.
No, we're ashamed of that. We don't want to.
Yeah, totally. So we do have a rating system here where we like to rate and review our comic books. I'll play that rating system so you know what we're talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right, so I don't know, man. What did you guys rate this one?
Holy.
Yeah, I'm at a holy too. I think it was a great book.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind the training because it's a different style of training, and you can see like Jessica growing, and this training is going to be training in war. Like you guys are thrown into the grunt of it, so get your crap together and fight the war. It's not like, you know, here's a test. No, this is you're going up the ranks because you have no other choice.
Yeah, I definitely dig seeing Jessica become the leader in the group too. That's always fun.
Yeah.
And I think she deserves to be. So, you know, I really enjoyed that one. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Holy too. And we can move things on to our next book of the week, Superman number 28.
Superman number 28, Declaration. We got
Time to get a history lesson.
yes.
So.
Sit back, pull out your books and your number 2 pencils. We're ready for a test.
Starting
Anybody?
from chapter 2, section 5.
Yes.
Write your name.
So we've got
Clearly.
Tomasi, Gleason, Glodweski, and I didn't get the last name. My apologies. Starts with an E, though.
I stopped even doing creative scenes, so it's okay.
Continuing our adventures through history, we follow the Kent family to Washington, D.C., where they visit, get ready, the Capitol. John learns about social issues. Then we move on to the Air and Space Museum, where John learns about achievements throughout history. Then we move to the World War II Memorial, where John learns about sacrifice. Then we move to the Korean and the Vietnam Memorial, where, again, John learns about sacrifice. And then finally, we end at the Gettysburg National Military Park, where John learns about brothers fighting brothers in order to make the United States of America great and safe for a country for all of those to live in. We end with the Kents and the RV making its way towards the Metropolis border. Next issue, Parallax.
This is a great recap. I think the only other part I would have gone into, because there's a lot of words in this book.
Yeah.
There's a ton. It's a history lesson, exactly what it is. And, you know, online it's getting great reviews.
I liked it.
A lot of people on Twitter are just praising Tomasi and Gleason right now. Yeah, really. I would say, I don't know. I liked it. It's showing us. I kind of dissected it and went, why are we doing these 2 to 3 issue history lesson story? All I can think of is they want us to see Super Dad and Super Son outside of the fighting, the alien kind of thing. They want to teach John what it means to be a person and to be a human.
Right.
And we just need to make Superman or make the public love Superman again, because we've all kind of dropped away from that dark New 52 Superman.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. There's a ton of words. There's a ton of history lesson in it. I'm not as big a fan as everybody else from what I saw in reviews. I'm saying blessing.
Okay.
because it was good. I really did like the part when they're in DC and they go and visit the wall. It's got great art in it. There was a couple spots in there that just kind of fell flat for me, and I was kind of like, I'm kind of bored. I flipped through pages. So
I wish that they would have at the beginning say what it is, say exactly what it is. Be like, hey, son, this is why we're going X, Y, and Z because I want you to learn this. I want you to learn from the war, the conflict in Vietnam, the why Korea was Korea. What lessons are you going to take away instead of just kind of putting it there so it wouldn't feel like just telling the world.
They kind of did that on the very first page when they were talking about I think they're coming down out of the Capitol, and there's two groups kind of fighting each other back and forth, yelling at each other, and Lois actually steps up, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it says basically, words have more power than anything, basically over muscle. So you have to be careful with what you say.
Yeah.
And that was a good lesson. I like to see that. But yeah, then they kind of dialed it back and just went with the plain history text throughout the rest of it. Like the whole part about Gettysburg fell really flat and really cheesy for me. So I kind of flipped through. Yeah.
The diner, too.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't see that would really happen.
Yeah. But, for what it is, it was a nice Superman's, it was a
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, yes, thank you. A Clark Kent story. Very cheesy, apple pie,
Yeah, with cheese on top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. So, what'd you guys think?
Yeah, I think the only other part I would have covered, because there's just so much text in it, and like you can't possibly... I think there's a lot of history book readings, and it's a very heavy read. The only other part I think was important was like the thing where they meet up with the family out in the woods, and this family's like relative died a long time in the war or whatever, and Superman went and found this family's relatives' remains, which I don't even know the logistics of how that works or whatever, but aside from the massive like history book readings throughout the book, this is really the only other thing that happened. So
and it happened, but for me I didn't want to cover it because it was just there. It was just like all the other text. It was the only time we saw Superman in his outfit. So I don't know. I didn't really care for it. I didn't think that really belonged there. I mean, it was nice to see that Superman.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nice thing to do, I guess. But
yeah. No,
cool.
Yeah, I'm at a blessing on this one, I guess. So I can't say it's a bad book. Maybe I wasn't in the right state of mind to receive a history lesson when I read it or something. But it just wasn't something that I was necessarily into at the time. But I do see its value.
It definitely wasn't a bowl of cereal comic.
No, not at all. No. So all right, cool. What did you rate this one, Brad? Sorry.
Oh, Blessing. Yeah.
Blessing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will move things on to our next book, which is Nightwing number 26.
Which definitely was a bowl of cereal. Honey Nut Cheerios. Just a forewarning. Okay. Moving forward. In the aftermath of Giz's death, Nightwing gets the feeling that he is at part to blame and finds none other than Huntress waiting in his apartment to offer up some information that could be valuable to both of them. Meanwhile, Sean is getting reacquainted with the Pigeon, and after a little soul-searching, she is starting to bring back her defacing side. But hey, at least she doesn't have any rocket spray paint cans duct taped to her ankles yet. Right?
Yeah.
We pick up with Nightwing and Huntress, former partners from Spiral, tracking down mercenary Dracul. After a little bit of ass-kicking for information, they found out where Dracul is. And that he was actually they find him dead, and that they find out that he was an undercover agent of Spiral all along. They find out that the ones that they are after isn't the Second Hand, but Spiral itself. We will find out more when Nightwing and Huntress return in Nightwing Spy vs. Spy.
Cool. So I didn't read this one. What did you think of it, though?
I thought it was great. It was really good compared to the last few issues. I'm kind of glad that they're putting the whole runoff thing behind him, behind Nightwing, and he can, this is a welcome surprise because I really liked it. I gave it a holy. The art was really good. I got nothing bad to say about it. It was really enjoyable. Go get it. Huntress just looks phenomenal in this.
Yeah, the artwork is really solid.
Yeah. Oh man. Enjoyable.
Awesome.
Honey Nut Cheerios with milk.
Awesome. Did you read this one, Travis?
No, sir.
All right. Yeah, and just to give, since not enough of us read it, to give a composite rating. This got a critic rating of 7.4 out of 10 on a Comic Book Roundup, which I feel like is a good score.
Yeah.
It's decent, not bad, not great, but just good.
Yeah. The last couple have been lacking something. I don't know how, like the whole pigeon and defacer thing. I kind of felt was kind of stupid because, like, Sean, she was leading the runoffs in their groups and whatever, and then after this, she's already gonna, easily gonna, turn her back and all that and go back to her villainous ways, if you want to call it. I mean, I kind of felt that was kind of stupid, but I think that they're setting that up for something.
So from the lack of sleep and everything that I've been getting lately, my short-term memory is just awful.
Mm-hmm.
Was the interview that we listened to before, wasn't that about this comic?
Yep, that was about this issue. Yep.
My apologies. I just thumbed through it. But what was she talking about? The steamy hot shower sex?
It was the first one.
Very first page.
Yeah, with Dick Grayson.
That we're supposed to get all hot and bothered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
We try to keep things
subs-
nice and calm around here at NCR, but
that's
kind of lame.
there are some like subsequent pages after that. Like I think you get into like page 5, 6. There are a couple things, but,
but nothing.
It's nothing crazy. I mean, you're still in it. You're still in a DC comic book.
Yeah,
so
I'm just like, wait, what's going on here? Because
yeah. So, it's still PG-13. I mean, at best, it's gonna, be that. I don't think it's ever gonna get like Image
this conversation
Comics
feels
bad.
like it's gonna take a weird turn. So let's go on to the next one.
Let's see who
Sure.
Dick Grayson's going to hit on in this issue.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, so we'll move on to our next book. We got Batman number 28, and this continues the War of Jokes and Riddles. So in this one, the War of Jokes and Riddles is still going on. Now both the Riddler and the Joker have demanded a meeting with the commish. And actually, the meeting was just so both Riddler and the Joker could demand Batman from Gordon in exchange for the end of the war.
I thought it was just to humiliate the commissioner.
No, actually, yeah. I think that was part of it. Demanding, like, because the Joker had him come in his underwear, which is kind of a callback to the Killing Joke. You know?
Yeah.
And the Riddler just had him come and like read freaking riddles in front of him, which is just his style. So, Batman and Gordon's response to this is just. To this demand is just to go in with extreme force and take back the city. But then we jump back a few days. Riddler ordered Deathstroke to kill Batman. Joker gave the same order to Deadshot. But instead of going after Batman like the best mercenaries in the world, the two just get into a battle that ended up killing tons of innocent civilians, which really doesn't jive with the current Deathstroke story going on. But this is way back in the day in Batman's Year One story, so it doesn't matter. After day 5 of this, Batman caught up with them and stopped them, which, give him a break. It is his first year on the job. So the feds finally intervened and sent in soldiers, but Joker and Riddler took the soldiers out in just a hot minute, real quick. And then we leave off with the scene of Bats and Gordon talking on the rooftop at the very beginning of the book. So it wasn't come right out and said, but what I'm led to believe is we started at one point, then we jumped back a couple days, then we ended, where we started the book.
Yeah.
And that's where they've just decided to go in with extreme force and just take them out, and treat it like a war, not like, fighting crime or whatever. So yeah, I thought this issue was an improvement, honestly.
I liked
from
it.
The last. Yeah. I enjoyed this one.
I dug the art too. I thought it was really good. I know Ben's a huge fan of the small-eared Batman.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the longer-eared Batman, but I like this. I like this strong.
Even though it's not practical at all.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I know.
But I guess neither is a cape,
I went back and read them all consecutively, and I think that made a huge difference for this one for me.
Yeah. No, I totally love the idea, the war between the two mercenaries. That's just a beautiful idea. I mean, I don't like the fact that all the other people were killed in the means, but I mean, imagine two people who are put out there on pride and just run on that, something like that probably would happen,
Yeah.
They would, none of them want their pride to be or their reputation to be damaged. So of course they're going to come out on top. So I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was a great issue.
Yeah, I really like the page where you see the Deathstroke and Deadshot shooting a gun at each other, and their bullets like actually hit each other, and that's just completely unrealistic, but also kind of just cool visually.
As unrealistic as it is, if you're going to have it happen, these are the two to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone did it in the DCU, it would be these two.
So let's do a little game here. Brad, who do you think would win? A mercenary.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke? Okay.
Yeah, Deathstroke for sure.
I'd want Deathstroke to win too.
Well, the thing about
Deadshot,
Deathstroke,
I just think he's a spin-off character of Deathstroke.
Well,
but I don't know. I don't know the history of those two.
Yeah, I think Deathstroke just has more on him though too.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I think this is the first time where Batman has actually been able to take him in hand to hand.
Yeah.
Batman has never. Up until this point in the comics, Batman has never beaten Deathstroke in a hand-to-hand situation.
You sure about that?
Positive.
Okay. I don't know.
That is something that's never happened in the comics until now. So that was just something that was confirmed. I think it was like a geek history lesson, but I'm not sure. It was someone that like said like Deathstroke's never beaten Batman in a hand-to-hand combat situation, but
Batman's never beaten Deathstroke.
Regardless, yeah. So that's why I think Deathstroke would win out of Deathstroke and Deadshot.
So in the issue or in the pages where Gordon is standing in front of both the Joker and the Riddler, and he's got all of his henchmen around him, I'm looking in the background to see who's on whose team,
Right.
And I'm like, okay, on the Joker side, I can totally see how the Mad Hatter is with the Joker because they're both bat crap crazy,
Right.
And then some of the others in there is like, yeah, that makes sense. The one to me that doesn't make sense, I would think that Mr. Freeze would be on the Riddler side because Mr. Freeze is actually very logical in what he does, and he's a professor or a scientist. I know he's gone crazy because his wife Nora was frozen,
right?
But
I don't see him on the Joker side.
I think the Joker probably got something over on him.
Think so?
I mean, that's the only.
I know it's very inconsequential.
Joker probably figured out a way to promise Mr. Freeze that Nora would get saved, and Mr. Freeze is logical enough to think like, okay, well, if you can save my dead wife, which is all he cares about, and that's typically the only time he'll go past reason and logic is to save his wife.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like that's even out of Joker's
hands and territory.
Right. I mean, keeping somebody alive isn't something that the Joker would ever do. Like, I can bring you back your wife from the dead. I mean, I feel like the Riddler could say that, and that would be okay. But like the Joker saying, "I'm going to keep you alive," he's empathetic. I mean,
I don't
know. I think he would. I think he would if he knew that somebody was a big enough player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like if he can use them, it's not about empathy at that point. It's about chess pieces, and Joker's always the boss.
Yeah.
So, I think he'll always have the ability to be like, oh, I have what you need, come work for me, and then he'll just screw him over in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it more that he already has the cure. And it's like, I will give you the cure.
Exactly.
I procured the cure. I will give it to you if you work for me.
Can you say procured the cure?
Procured the cure.
And then afterwards, he's like, I have the Cure album. That's what I have.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you.
It's Friday. I'm in love.
It's a joke.
It's
a joke.
A joke. Yeah.
See what I mean there?
Yeah.
So honestly, though, this is a story that I really feel like this could have been. I feel like Batman maybe is too small of a title to do this in.
Yeah.
And I really would have liked to see this be an event with actual. Like, this is one of the few times that I probably would have read the tie-ins. Like, if they would have done tie-ins to show how the Joker and the Riddler acquired all of these things, this would have been a great opportunity to actually have tie-ins that matter. Because 99% of the time, tie-ins are just money grabs.
Right.
So this is one where it's like, you could have done tie-ins. And
I think we all agree on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it would have made this more, but I think you're right. This doesn't belong in Batman. It belonged in its own miniseries.
Yeah, if you're doing a war, like, you can't contain that in 6 or 8 issues.
This kind of being like the big lead up to be something on the scale of what they're trying to make Metal to be, its own thing, its own big summer story. And I don't think yeah, like you said, it can't be contained in Batman.
Yeah, I mean,
Or it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, because right now it's just kind of falling flat because we don't have enough time to do it.
Sure.
Right.
So, all right, that's all we got. Oh, I rated it as a holy, I think. So, what would you guys rate it?
I'd agree.
Holy.
Yeah, holy.
Holy.
Cool. Well, we will move on to the next issue, which is Justice League number 26.
Justice League number 26, Legacy, Part 1. Hitch and the rest of them. Justice League, offspring from the future, are in an apocalyptic wasteland of some sort. It says like Olympus / New York 2029 or some crap like that, because it's, of course, a Hitch book and it's in the future. So, they face off against a future Aquaman who's missing an arm, but he's kind of like a hybrid Aquaman cyborg thing, and they talk about that. They're fighting him to gain access to what appears to be the Infinity Core building for some reason. We don't know why, really. We find out this is where the stones from the very first issues of Hitch's run of Justice League are, and they, for some reason, have to get to these stones because they're singing to him. Great. We got a Hitch in another story about singing stuff.
Kumbaya.
Yes, exactly. Enter some bad witch lady that named Sovereign, who kind of looks like an Ultron knockoff. The Justice League kids escape using the stones, but are transported back in time to meet their parents of the current Justice League. That's pretty much what was it. I mean, you guys can add in whatever you want, but I don't know. 26 issues, guys, to get back to having to remember all this stuff. Infinity Core, stones, singing stuff. I'm sorry, my brain's toast. I don't...
It's just an info dump.
If you can't do it in 5 issues, don't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, 26 issues. Go back. He talks about the Infinity Core in the first 2 or 3 issues of Justice League. How are you supposed to remember any of this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and we don't have to go on a rant about it or anything because it's. I think everyone's frustrated with it at this point, but it's I've watched YouTube videos on this issue, and it's pretty much a consensus out there. There are people that really like it,
but I don't understand what's going on with Infinity Core and these stones and the singing stuff. That's that I'm not harping on Hitch. I'm harping on the fact that I don't get why it's taking you so long to tell this story.
Sure.
If you can tell me why, get me interested. Go, Brad.
There's going to be. Sorry.
I can't tell you why, so I can't get you interested. But I can tell you that I'm interested in this. I felt that this was definitely a move in the right direction.
Why?
It wasn't monsters. I actually really like the kids.
Okay.
I mean, there's a little bit of mystery. Is that Superman and Wonder Woman's kid? And then Flash has 3 kids in there. What's the Light War?
It is Superman and Wonder Woman's kid. They talk about it because Sovereign talks to him about his mom and not Atlantis. What's Themyscira?
Themyscira,
when she abandoned him. Sovereign says that little line.
Right.
And then, well, I guess I have to assume it's Superman's son just because he's
the cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. I felt I wouldn't give this blasphemy. I mean, I don't think it's a holy. I mean, but I feel I'm into the next issue.
Yeah, hey man, that's cool. There are people I follow online that do other DC Comics podcasts, and their reviews say that this is their favorite issue of Hitch's Justice League run. That's not to say that it's like anywhere near like Jeff Johns or anything, but I mean it's an improvement I think on what he's been doing. That being said, I still don't think it's great or anything.
But no, you're right. You set something up, and then you're going to wait over a year for
or almost a year.
Or almost a year. Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I see it. I didn't even think about any of that stuff. I just went into like, oh yeah, I remember whatever, but I didn't give another thought.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of people don't at this point aren't even attempting to remember what happened back in the day with his stuff because it's just become too hard to keep up. So it's like I jump into almost every issue of his as a blank slate because there's no way I'm going to remember any of this stuff. And I'm not going to try to. I don't think it's going to pay off for me to. So I just jump in and try and have a 26-page ride or a 22-page ride. And
apparently that the Flash and Jessica Cruz get they they like to do things fast.
Yeah, that's been a theme in his books too. They've
Right.
gone on dates and stuff. So, well, what did you rate this one, Travis?
I'm kind of on the fence between Blasphemy and Purgatory because I'm going to read the next one. I mean,
Yeah,
just
you're going
hands
to read
down.
every Justice League
Yeah.
issue. So
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, but
you're going to buy every Justice League issue.
There you go.
It got my money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, between Purgatory and Blasphemy?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? And you said Blessing, Brad?
I said Blessing.
Okay.
Blessing, yeah.
I actually didn't read it. I just flipped through it, and I watched some videos on it. But I don't know. Just from what I've heard, I think it's probably Blessing or Purgatory worthy, but it depends on who you ask. So we will move on to our final book of the evening, and that is Green Arrow number 28.
All right. Hard Traveling Hero Part 3 by Benjamin Percy and art by Juan Ferreira. On this stop of the road trip of road trips for Green Arrow, Oliver stops in Metropolis to get information out of none other than Lex Luthor himself. Lex reveals that he had been approached by the Ninth Circle, but ultimately decided that they were a little too evil for his own liking. To sidetrack Oliver from his quest, people all over are attempting a mass suicide. To the rescue is none other than Superman. The trio of Green Arrow, Superman, and Super Lex quickly come to the conclusion that it is a virus that brings out everyone's deepest secrets and skeletons. Lex finds and changes the code to promote love, hope, and laughter. And for his help, Super Lex gives Green Arrow information vital to his quest, and his next stop will be Gotham.
Yeah, and that was a really solid recap on it,
Yeah.
man. You covered just about everything, I think. I thought this was a really good book.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, the stories are great. I'm really enjoying the Hard Traveling Hero, especially because it kind of points back to Hard Traveling Hero, Green Lantern, Green Arrow. But besides that, the art is A+.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There were a couple panels that bugged me a little bit, but for the most part, I really enjoyed the art.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Superman. Superman talking to Green Arrow. There wasn't a lot of that because it was more Oliver and Lex. I like the fact that Lex saved everybody by promoting love, hope, and laughter. Which is cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't expected. I kind of thought that if there was a chance to put his scheming side in there to give a glimpse of Lex not being being the anti-hero or straight up villain again, this would have been a good place to do that. Go get it, read it. I mean, this was definitely Cocoa Puffs all the way.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a good comic.
Yeah,
I
what
liked
did
it a
you
lot.
think?
I liked it a lot, and I normally don't read Green Arrow. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm going to read it. I actually enjoyed the interaction between Lex and Green Arrow more than I did Superman and Green Arrow.
Me too.
Like you said, I love the art. It's great. Yeah, solid Holy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, man, I just noticed Jim and Eric from Weird Science made it
Yeah.
in this issue again.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, the two people that Superman's saving from the building crashing.
Yep.
That's hilarious. Man, that cracks me up every time. Yeah, man, the artwork's so super consistent. I was just kind of skimming through and looking at artwork and stuff.
So, do you guys think this is all set up for Green Arrow being part of the Justice League?
I don't know if I would go that far. I would love to see that, I think, but I just don't. I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, it's been done before. I think he definitely deserves to be part of the Justice League. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
not
mean,
sure.
I honestly, I don't think. I hope not. I hope he turns.
I like
it down.
him as his own thing. You
right,
know?
right. I mean, he's kind of off on the side from everybody else, which
I'd love to see him be like a Justice League consultant or something, maybe, if he wanted
Yeah.
to do that, you
Yeah.
know, like sort of be someone that they come to when just things get super real, you know, but
Yeah.
but I don't know if I want to see a Justice League book with
I
Green
mean,
Arrow in it.
and I know one of the metal tie-ins is going to be all Green Arrow mentoring Damian Wayne. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That could be fun. I think that'll be a fun ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool. Well, that's all we...
Green Arrow mentoring Damian Wayne. That's like you take him to dinner somewhere and leave him at the restaurant.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, pretty much. No, that's cool. So yeah, that's all we got for you guys this week. If you want to find us anywhere, we're on all social media or social networking platforms as Nerd Church Radio. If you want to help us out again on Patreon, help us keep the mics on, that is patreon.com/nerdchurchradio, or for one-time donations, you can send them on PayPal, nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. Also, if you want to email us and give us something to read on air, we're happy to do that. Just send us an email at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. If you want to find me on Twitter, I can be located at IndieComicBen. Where can we find you, Travis?
I'm on Twitter as well at TritonTR, TRITONTR.
And Brett.
I'm on the Twitter as well at NerdDad_Brad.
Beautiful, and that's all we got for you guys this week. So I'll say peace be with you.
And also with you.
Peace out, planet Earth.
Go forth and read comics.